You mentioned the wilderness walks, and that's a wonderful program now. We now have the winter walks in addition to the summer walks.
That's
And
growing.
you really were there when it really exploded in popularity, and you really helped to develop it. We just celebrated our 50th anniversary of the wilderness walks last year. It's a real institution now for people of varied interests all through this state. So I was wondering if you'd want to talk about your experience and what you did back in those times to really get exponential growth going in the Wilderness Walks program.
Yeah, all a person needs to do is hear Ken and Florence Baldwin talk about starting the Wilderness Walks down in Bozeman. And it's just a fascinating story of dedication. They originated the idea because they wanted to do a walk into an area in the Gallatin Range. And they put the word out, and I think they had quite a crowd. And so the first outing was kind of a picnic and a walk, I believe, is what they described it as. And they challenged members in other locales to do the similar thing. And up in the Flathead, I think they went into the Swan Range, or Jewel Basin, I guess it was, as their first wilderness walk. And I need to remember the names of people up there, but it's sort of spread that way. First it was Bozeman, and then they challenged the Flathead, and then the Flathead challenged Helena. And that's how it grew. I mean, that was kind of the energy of the organization. So that when I got there in '82, they had had a good couple of years of wilderness walks. But I could see that it was sort of back and forth. It wasn't really taking off and growing every year. It was like maybe one year it would be bigger, and then it would retreat, and then it was just real scattered as to how consistent the whole program was. So what I tried to do was to set some goals of how many walks, how many areas we would try to address, and then cultivate leaders and do the training for the leaders so that they understood the value of being an ambassador for MWA and for wilderness. And putting more money into the publication, putting more effort into public relations, having meetings that drew attention to the wilderness walks, getting them into community newspapers and such. And so that, keeping that growing was my big job. But it was also very satisfying. And then my husband and I ended up being leaders ourselves. And of course we went on a lot of hikes as participants. So I tried to always get both sides of it. So I would kind of have a awareness of being a leader, being a participant. And we took our kids on some of them. My husband plays saxophone, so we had some jazz in the wilderness outings. Edith Lake was one of them, and a Father's Day wildflower walk. So walks that we did every couple of years, tried to really just involve our family too.